Good morning, it's Asha here. It's 5 something in the morning, and since this meditation tape has to do with candles, I thought it would probably be a good thing to record it in the dark so you could see the candle better, which is why I'm at this funny angle. There are many ways to meditate. I'm sure you've probably all looked through the apps and the videos on YouTube that how to meditate on the you can meditate on a beach, you can meditate on a staircase, you can meditate in the clouds, and all of it is someone taking you through a progressive body relaxation and then telling you of these beautiful images which you conjure up in your head and you think, now I've meditated. No, you haven't. You've been on a guided meditation, but that's not the real deal. The real deal of meditation is you alone with your mind. And then you get to find out little interesting things like what a tyrant your mind is, and how many useless thoughts can come into your head and like actually really upset you. So today we're going to be working with 2 techniques, and one of them, the one I'll show you first, is the technique for working with people who have PTSD, like me, or depression, also like me, or schizophrenia. And even 5 minutes a day of doing this will help tremendously with these conditions. And it's hard, actually, to live in our modern, disconnected society without having some form of depression at some time occur to you. Well, we can fight it. We can fight it by seeking the stillness, the one point in the mind. Because I'm going to tell you the big secret behind Hinduism. All gods are one. They assume these separate faces, these separate personalities, attributes for our convenience, so that we can relate to them better. In the beginning, before there was life on this planet, before there was a moon for this planet, the gods were there. And they threw lightning into the sea, and it created a biochemical reaction, starting the first one-celled life on the planet. And as they grew, they realized that life would get bigger and bigger and people would evolve. They created people, so they know how they evolve. Oh, hi, Izzy. This is my cat. And every person has different qualities. Now, in my life, Izzy, in my life, I've been a dancer. Not one of those dancers, but not that there's anything wrong with that, but I was a modern dancer in a small troupe. I was the lead dancer and choreographer. I studied and taught martial arts, qigong, tai chi, kung fu, and I've been taught by some of the best in Jeet Kune Do, and that probably means nothing to a lot of you, but it meant a lot to me, and I put my heart and soul into it. So when I became disabled and couldn't do that anymore, it was horrible. It was like losing all your limbs at once. So I had a whole bunch of surgeries to correct these problems, and they backfired. 3, 4 years ago, I could only sit up for an hour a day without the pain being so bad that I had to lay down again. Now, I can write because I'm a writer, I can write for 7 or 8 hours at a desk, do my chores, take care of myself, my house, my cat. How did this happen? Hinduism. I tried to do yoga, but with my health condition, it wasn't a good thing for me. My tendons and ligaments stretch a lot more than most people's do. So I could get into these wonderful positions, these asanas, and then my hip would go out. And it would take several months for it to click back into place. I mean, it was so bad chiropractors didn't want to touch it. So, okay, you can't do martial arts, can't do yoga, what can we do? Well, my first memory is of being like 4 years old in my bed at night, absolutely terrified of the ghost that would walk through my room every night. So I've been spiritually, psychically aware since I can remember. I'm what you call clairaudient, empathic, and a psychic medium. For many years in the 80s, I made my family's living by doing channeling and astrological charts. And that was okay for a while, you know. It paid the bills. I was working steady. And then I moved to San Francisco, where there's never enough money to pay the rents there. So I became a legal secretary. But in all this time, I go back to one of my other earliest memories of being a 5-year-old child at the Des Plaines Public Library, tottering up to the desk with a stack of books bigger than I was, all on mythology. So I have always, although I was born and raised in a family that had no regard whatsoever for religion, I have always been seeking God. I studied Buddhism, I studied Judaism, I studied, and I really, really tried to be Christian. But to paraphrase Leonard Cohen, I tried and tried, but I just can't get high with you. I couldn't put the history of the church and little things like, you know, the Inquisition, the Crusades, the wars, the death, the torturing. I couldn't get past that. Even when I tried Protestant churches, even when I tried New Age churches, something just wasn't working for me. So I researched Judaism. I'm thinking, okay, this is older than Christianity. And couldn't do that either, because of that whole you must fear God thing. I don't want to fear God. I want to love God. I've got all this love. Where can I put it? It belongs to God. Where is God? And then I found him. Her. I was playing a video game, and we were in you know, those little groups, what do they call them? Clubs or guilds. Yeah, we were in a guild. And there was this very nice young fellow who every day would ask me how I was. And being American, every day I'd reply with the normal American bullshit answer and say, "Oh, I'm just fine." And he'd say, "No, how are you really?" Well, I let that slide a few times. And then I told him how I was really. And we went into a private chat and we began a conversation that has continued for many, many years. This man, Jai, is what I would consider my spiritual brother. He's closer to me than any friend has ever been, and kinder. And he's Hindu. He didn't want to bring it up because Hindus do not proselytize. But I kept digging, I kept questioning, I kept asking, I kept saying, "What should I do? I want to learn more. I want to learn." He said, "Well, read the Puranas." Okay, so I read the Puranas. Sometimes, depending on what state of mind I am in, sometimes they make perfect sense. Brilliant, brilliant. Other days, when I'm not feeling so sharp, it's, what is this? I don't understand. And then he told me to read the Bhagavad Gita, which we refer to as the Gita, Gita. I strongly suggest that you read it. It is the most excellent example of a conversation between man and God. It is one of the most beautiful, eloquent expressions of the human soul that has ever, ever been written. Now, see, literature in Hinduism goes back 5,000 years. Representations of the gods of his Hinduism go back 18,000, 18,500 years. Back to cave paintings of Shiva, who is called the god of destruction, but he's really not. He's the god of, he will destroy negative things, and then he will bring rebirth. So he's my soul god. And one day I was talking to Jai, we were texting, and I was having the worst muscle spasms. The pain was unbelievable. I was headed for the emergency room. And he says to me, well, he texts me, "Call the mother goddess." Well, yeah, but call her what? There's thousands of names for the mother goddess. But the pain was so bad, I was alone in the house, so there was no one there to think I was crazy. So I yell out, "Parvati!" And the pain stopped in the middle of a spasm. And the spasms have never come back that bad, ever. Well, that was a miracle. To me, that was a miracle. To have me sitting here talking to you, sitting upright comfortably, is a miracle. And because it happened to me, I want to share it with you. I got nothing to sell. I've got nothing to persuade you of. You can keep your beliefs the same. If you res with Jesus, wonderful. Pray. If you are a Jew, wonderful. Pray. If you are a Muslim, wonderful. Pray. I'm only here to tell you my experiences and share some tools that might help you. One of them is, as we've talked about, meditation. A nice thing, now this is not a need to have, it's a nice to have, that I like to do before I start meditating, is these are Tibetan prayer bells, very inexpensive on Amazon. And that just clears the atmosphere of any negativity. It lets your body mind know that, oh, we're going to meditate now. Okay. So let's meditate. What we're going to do is we're going to try the hardest one first. We light a candle, and if you're religious, pray a little bit. Now, can you see the candle? We're going to just look at that candle flame. Let your body be comfortable. Now, tighten up your feet. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Let go. Now your calf muscles between your ankle and your knee. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Let go. Now your thighs. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Let go. Now your core, your hips and back. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Let go. Your back and shoulders. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Let go. Your arms make fists. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Let go. Now your facial muscles. Make a face. Tighten your neck. Tighten your face. Tighten, tighten, tighten. Let go. Now breathe in a little more deeply than normal. Let your palms rest, palms up like this, on your thighs, because it's been proven that when the palms are up and open like that, you do breathe more deeply just naturally. Take a deep breath. Let it out and relax. In, out, relax. In, out, relax. Now focus on that candle. Keep your eyes about half open. Look at the candle, but let your focus go soft, soft, soft. Think of nothing but the candle, nothing but the light. Thoughts will come to you, like my cat jumped up on the table. To say hi, brush it aside. Should I check my text messages? Brush it aside. What about my brush it aside? But what about, no, brush it aside. And another deep breath in, and let's relax from that posture. Some people do this with music. You can try it. There are thousands of mantras on YouTube. Look at the candle. Half closed eyes, soft focus. Hari Om Namah Shiva. Hari Om Namah Shiva. Hari Om Namah Shiva. Does that sound help you? Or does it just bring up more monkeys in your mind? That's something you have to decide. I've had my best meditations on nothing but a candle or a bouquet of flowers. A bouquet of flowers got me through 38 hours of labor. Then they took me to the hospital. No flowers there. So it was just me and my breathing for another 27 hours before the surgery. They come in, who taught you Lamaze? Nobody. I never heard of Lamaze. What is it? It's what you're doing. Oh, I thought I was meditating. It's very similar. This candle holder, and I hope it showed up in this video, can be your best friend. Try it for 1 minute a day until we meet again next week. Work up to 5 minutes a day if you can do it. Brush the thoughts aside. Brush them aside. If you do it 5 minutes a day, brushing those thoughts aside, it has been scientifically proven to help manage psychological conditions as bad as schizophrenia. So you try it, okay? I'll get back to you next week. Thank you. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.